Did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, planet Earth, and some, in places some might call unknown. It is time for the House Divided Podcast, Season 8, Episode 6. Hello, we are here, and we are live.
Yep.
That's it. That's the show right there. Show's just an intro. Bye.
Hey. Gets us in and gets us out fast.
That's the show. Yeah, we got a thing today. Let's I don't where the fuck did my notes go? There we go.
We
got ourselves a hopefully short one today. If we don't, there's a problem.
That's the goal.
So
short.
I want to go to bed.
I want the opportunity to do something else on stream on a Thursday.
So without further ado, I know Twitch ads are still running on my channel, but I ain't gonna miss much. Let's get in to our bad take of the week. Jordan, do you want to lead us off?
Oh, I suppose. Now, I can't say this is a late entry. This was yesterday. And there's some parts of this and a rare time here on Bad Take of the Week where we don't really know who said it.
Oh no.
This is talking about the Stefon Diggs situation with the Bills and what really happened there. ESPN was talking about it. And a source spoke with Jeremy Fowler. This is an ex-Viking source.
Oh God.
Says, dealing with Stefon, it can be a lot. He might throw his helmet. He will wear on your quarterback. But find me a premier receiver that's not a diva. And he works incredibly hard. This is in Bad Take of the Week because there are many premier receivers that don't fit into that diva category, as Stefon kind of does. I mean, I don't put him at the top of the wide receiver divas, but I mean he's in there.
He's up there. Stefon is up there.
Name a premier wide receiver that's not a diva. Okay, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin's had like 9 different quarterbacks. You never hear him say a word.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No, he's just a weirdo. He's just, Amon-Ra St. Brown's just a fucking weirdo.
Why is he weird? What did he do now?
The memeability of him taking things way too seriously.
But that's why he's weird?
He is a fucking weirdo for some of that.
Justin Jefferson, yeah. I mean, he's not really in the diva category.
Justin Jefferson.
Not necessarily.
But being weird for Amon-Ra is not a bad thing. It's just different.
I don't get it, but
yeah,
that's all I have to say. And we can't even attribute it to anybody, which means they likely don't get on the graphic unless we have another ex-Viking source talking about something at some point.
Mine, we know who said. Unfortunately.
There's a start.
Yeah. Daryl Reuter. Reuter, wrong fan. Daryl Reuter works for 92.3 The Fan down in Cleveland. Said this on... What day was this?
Not
Last
today.
week. Last Friday. People in Baltimore crying for Oakland after they lost the A's is beyond rich, considering they stole the Browns from Cleveland. Like, seriously, and I mean this as rudely as possible, shut the fuck up. No, Daryl Reuter, you shut the fuck up. Because, do you want to know who really took the Browns from Cleveland? Art Modell. Not Baltimore sports fans. They ain't got the money to buy a NFL franchise and move it from one city to another.
And I mean, that's a weird comparison as well, because I mean, the Colts left Baltimore as well, like
In the middle of the night.
I don't understand it.
I don't really I don't understand where this, what was happening, what Daryl Reuter had going on last Friday, who pissed in his Cheerios, that he said that. Baltimore sports fans weren't the ones who stole Cleveland, or stole the Browns from Cleveland.
But let's be honest, do you really want the Browns anyway?
Daryl Reuter apparently does.
The lives of the people in Cleveland would probably be greatly improved if the Browns did not exist. The second iteration of the Browns.
Most people just don't care. Cleveland's not a football town.
No.
It's a baseball and basketball town.
Which is also partly because the Browns have been bad
Well,
for a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Any city anywhere can be an anything town with a good team.
Yeah.
Browns, not good.
Yeah. I never changed graphic, but
there's your hot take of the week. Neither did I.
Browns aren't good.
Yeah. Hot take of the week. Cleveland is bad.
Cleveland Browns are ass. Let's move on to the news.
News.
There we go. Make sure I'm on the right graphic. Starting off with some follow-up from last week's story about UNLV, former UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka. I don't even care if I'm pronouncing it wrong at this point. University of...
I haven't watched the UNLV game, so I couldn't tell you.
Neither have I. I'll have one tomorrow night.
I don't really see another way to pronounce it, so Matthew Sluka it is. Matthew Sluka. That sounds like a slur.
We're not saying that one. UNLV denied a last-minute offer from Circa Casino, Sportsbook, whatever the fuck, and former UNLV alum, or not former, but UNLV alum, Mike Palm, to pay the $97,000 unpaid dollars that UNLV supposedly owes Matthew Sluka. The fact that this is denials coming out is making it kind of hard to feel bad for UNLV. Like, yes, you don't want to have a casino, having someone associated with a casino paying this, because then it opens a different can of worms.
I was gonna say, so when this news broke, not even really news, but when this offer came about, you already knew it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
For one, UNLV is not gonna try to not let it happen.
Yeah.
It makes this whole thing makes them look silly, but that would make them look even sillier. But then there is the gambling connotation with it. And now I don't think there's a lot of people probably betting on UNLV games, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Like I said, the only way it really makes UNLV look worse is it gives some credibility to the family of Sluka, who there was originally reports coming from UNLV saying that he wanted more than $100K because of market value increases. This story's just asinine. That it's UNLV, who the fuck cares? Other than fucking Mike Palm, apparently. Moving on. Former NBA and humanitarian. Former NBA player and humanitarian Dikembe Mutombo died at the age of 58 after a battle with brain cancer. The other, what was it, Monday, I believe?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe this broke on Monday.
Yeah. In a very bad sports day in general, in terms of sports news. Yeah, I mean, losing Mutombo, especially with him being, I mean, I guess we can't say young, but I mean, 58.
58 ain't old.
No, but cancer does not discriminate, unfortunately. It's just a shame. So, like, obviously, Mutombo is one of the greatest of all time, especially defensively in the NBA. It just doesn't really get much better. But then, like, the man himself is also worth talking about, because the guy spent the majority of his post-playing career just primarily trying to improve the living conditions in his native Democratic Republic of Congo, which is, of course, admirable. And it's always really nice to see anyone that doesn't come from a very well-off area or anything like that, just trying to do what they can to help out, use their platform for good. Mutombo did that, and sucks that he can't be around anymore to help out even more, because I mean he just I don't know, it's really unfortunate. Can we get a fuck cancer in the chat?
Fuck cancer. The phrase larger than life gets thrown around a lot with people. I mean, Mutombo was one of those guys, and he was obviously a very, very large man. He was one of those figures that everything he did is going to extend well beyond his life to better living conditions in the Congo, and to be able to give some of those kids a chance that want to play basketball, a chance to experience the game. And everything that he did will leave a very, very long-lasting legacy. It
No doubt, but
sucks to lose a man who's as good as he was.
unfortunately, though, unless you have anything else to add on Mutombo,
I do not.
the bad news did not stop on Monday,
No.
as we also lost another one of the greats in a different sport, if not one of the greatest to ever play Major League Baseball, in Pete Rose, the MLB's all-time leading hits leader. I want to say, I could be wrong on this entirely, but somebody said in terms of his hit record, you could have 20 straight, like 200 hit seasons and still come up short.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, forgetting all the betting on baseball and all that, and the lifetime ban. Even though I feel like it does need to come up when you talk about Pete Rose because it was a big deal.
Yeah.
The man still belongs in baseball's Hall of Fame, and now it will not happen under Rob Manfred. We already know that.
No.
But when we get some new blood, in fact, I would be willing to say, whoever's going to try and replace Manfred, we need to find the one that is going to put Pete in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Pete Rose, dying at 83 after cardiovascular disease. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. It's, you're talking one of the best hitters of the baseball. Actually, not one of the best, the best.
I mean, the best.
At least in terms of putting a bat on the ball and putting it in play.
And Ash makes a good point on this. It says, yeah, Pete Rose dead at 83. This breaking news brought to you by DraftKings. I mean,
Yeah.
MLB does not shy away anymore, at least their broadcast partners, from being involved with sports books and taking in ad money from sports books, and they just don't care about it. They don't care what sort of precedent it sets and how bad they look. They just care about the dollar. That's why we got Strauss logos on postseason helmets for at least the next 3 years. And also, we're gonna get into our MLB brackets later. Speaking of this, when it comes to the Pete Rose news, that MLB also needs to apologize to any player that ever got suspended for marijuana use, because I don't know if you saw this. The MLB postseason bracket on MLB.com is sponsored by a CBD company.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Charlotte's Web CBD. They just don't even try anymore. MLB is
What are we doing?
I'd say losing touch. They never really had it.
No.
Especially under Rob Manfred. Manfred needed to go 5 years ago.
And like while we're
I'd say 10 years ago. I don't even know he's been commissioner for 10 years. Never needed to be named commissioner because he doesn't care about growing the game of baseball, and he never did.
while we're on the Pete Rose and gambling, like, yeah, every fucking major sports league in the world is some form of ad partners with every fucking some sports book at some point.
Oh, look at the games on ESPN. The wild card games just over the weekend. We've got ESPN bet money line odds popping up during the game. We've got a constant win probability at the top of the screen.
Yeah. And you see it with MLB, you see it with football. Like, at some point, You saw it with soccer in the World Cup and UEFA Copa America this past summer. Like, at some point, yes, you don't want players betting on games that they're playing in, but you can't be punishing players or former players for gambling when you're taking money from casinos and sports books. And you're partners with casinos and sports books. That we need to move into the 21st century on that.
Wow. Rob Manfred's stuck in the 19th.
Yeah. And the final piece of news. This broke, I don't want to say late. Broke yesterday.
This is yesterday at some point.
Yeah, broke yesterday, and I just forgot to add it into the news. The Big, because I'm not calling it the Big Ten, is to position... That's a big conference. Big conference. To position the line judge and the headline judge on the kicking team's restraining lines for all kickoffs in an effort to change the way onside kicks are officiated, per ESPN's Pete Thamel. The thing that changed it, the Minnesota-Michigan game this past weekend. The Big Ten didn't go out to say and tell PJ Fleck that the offside call was wrong. Everything I've seen, I can't call it one way or another.
It's a very, very close call, and I guess it's good that we can get this out of the way now instead of when we talk about our team's games. But yeah, it was really, really close. Like, the first look they showed, okay, then it looked offsides. Well, then we bring in, the game was on Fox. We bring in Mike Pereira, and he's like, well, that don't look offsides to me. Slow it down even more.
So this brings me in. I hate the new Hawkeye replay system with a fucking passion. With a passion. We saw in action Monday night or Friday night, Virginia Tech, Miami. Your video reviews are with this new Hawkeye system could take up to 15 minutes as they're taking still photos or screenshots as they're watching the review and trying to piece them together. You're not getting video replay at that point. You're getting a photo. That brings me to like. Either this with this news, why wasn't this done beforehand? Why is this all of a sudden getting changed now? And B, why can't offsides be at least reviewable on onside kicks?
Well, because it almost never happens.
I mean, yes. It's one of those few things that probably should be. But with this, what the Big Ten's doing now, positioning the line judge and the headline judge on the restraining lines, the offsides lines. Why are we just now doing that? Why is other than the fact that every Big Ten commissioner we've had the past years have been pylons. Why are we doing it now?
Well, something good happened to Michigan. We gotta make sure that never happens again.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but let's move on.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
To a bit, kind of a new segment in a way.
A shorter college football recap and NFL recaps because, well, quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about really bad football games.
Bad games are bad, and just because the team is ranked in the top 25, we shouldn't bring them up. And this is the House Divided podcast at the end of the day. So we're going to talk about, well, Lions and Bengals aren't really rivals, but Michigan and Ohio State are.
Yeah.
So we're going in with that. So the way that I kind of thought this segment would hopefully go.
Let's say you lead this segment. I will lead the next one that we don't really have a graphic for with
Yeah, no, I kind of forgot that was in there.
With big games of the week, because I know how that one will work.
So anyway, in hopefully not too long of a time, review your team's game. Kind kind of see where they are in the season as well. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, decimal points are allowed. You tell me and tell everyone else just how panicked you are that your team might be ass.
Jordan's calling it the panic meter. In the notes I have it, are they ass? Because we couldn't come up with a name.
Yeah, neither name is really all that good, but it was Thursday and we had to do something.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to ask you this real quick, just to make sure I have the format.
Okay.
Is 1 no panic, or is 10?
1 is no panic.
Okay.
10 is, the higher up on the meter it goes,
10 is
the more panicked you are.
10 is massive ass.
Yes, and I'm going to keep track of these all throughout the year and make a sort of graph, if you will, kind of showcasing just the ups and downs of the season and see how well it goes.
Well, since you had the early game with Michigan, you want to take...
I get to go first. All right. Well, once again, Michigan played a good first half, kind of, for the most part. Did that against USC, did that again here against Minnesota. And then the second half, and especially the fourth quarter between Michigan and Minnesota, was all our opponent. We almost let USC come back. We almost let Minnesota come back. 21 points in the fourth quarter for Minnesota. Alex Orji threw for more yards in this last week's game than he did in the previous week. Still couldn't crack 100. 10 of 18 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. How about a 59.3 QBR?
How many yards did he end up passing for, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
In this game against Minnesota, 86.
Okay.
It's better than the 36 from a week ago.
Yeah.
Once again, Khalil Mullings might be single-handedly trying to save Michigan football. He is just so clearing away a better back than Donovan Edwards, and I think for once Sharon Moore has finally realized that, because Khalil Mullings got a bunch of work. 24 carries, 111, 2 scores. Donovan Edwards carried the ball 9 times.
As he should right now.
So Sharon has finally realized that and done something. It's the only way we can move the ball. We can run. That's about it. And I guess defensively was 3 quarters of good, and then Minnesota just would not go away. Little bastards kept coming back for their little brown jug, but they were unable to get it. So Michigan does improve the 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in the big, as you've called it.
Yep.
But I still don't really believe in the Michigan Wolverines right now. They are a very scary football team to watch. There really aren't any safe moments in the game, as there's the dog appearance weekly.
He just likes to be seen.
I see that.
Continue on.
But anyway,
almost
in
weren't
terms
good.
of my first ever panic ranking for the Michigan Wolverines, I'm going to give it a very nice 6.9% panic, or 6.9 on the panic meter.
Okay.
We'll see. This was Washington game could really drive that down or drive it to the moon. Who knows? But
fair enough.
6.9.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, since I had the inexplicable 7:45 kickoff on the cock, why this game was on Peacock, Colt McCoy and Dude McDudeface, whoever else was calling that game, should never call a football game again. That's all I got there. The Peacock is terrible for football, other than no political ads and 4K. Viewing experience was great, but yeah. That should give you an early indicator how I feel about this game. Ohio State beat Michigan State 38-7. If you were to go scroll through the internet, you wouldn't know with how some Ohio State fans are looking. This Michigan State team came out. They were scrappy in the first quarter. Their defense provided resistance. They were scrappy in the first quarter. They were impressive. This is the first time in 5 years we've seen Michigan State provide resistance to Ohio State. But kind of like Jonathan Smith said, if you look at the score of the game, it wasn't really close. Ohio State did get up to 17-7 and then never looked back. Jeremiah Smith is the truth.
Oh, God. That catch was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Which one? The touchdown or the
touchdown?
From Devin Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Michigan State, I gotta talk more about them because there isn't really much to say about Ohio State. Yeah, Will Howard made one bad mistake. Just a dumb throw into double coverage. Michigan State defensive back, I don't even remember who it was. Undercut it, and then one play later, that was Michigan State's only score. Other than that, offensively, they just weren't a threat because when you have a team that turns the ball over 4 times a game, they're not going to be a threat. So
no,
that's really all I got. If I was a Michigan State fan, which I'm not, I'd be semi-encouraged, semi-discouraged because your offense keeps getting worse, but your defense is at least hanging around. But for Ohio State, right now in this Oregon game coming up in 2 weeks, because I'm not expecting a lot out of their game against Iowa, my panic is at a 2.
A 2. You know, that's kind of higher than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give it a 1 because
there just hasn't been a big game yet.
Yeah, Ohio State hasn't been tested. Like, I can't give it a 1. Like I said, like, this team looks extremely good top to bottom, but Michigan State is the best opponent they've played. So it's hard to be like, oh, they're perfect. I mean, yeah, if you look at a lot of Ohio State fans on the internet would probably be at like a 5 or a 6, but nobody expected Michigan State to provide any resistance. They thought Ohio State was going to score 70.
It's the thing with Michigan State is that they can make some very good plays.
Yeah.
And then they kill themselves with the awful plays. It just happens too much. And now, granted, they did not turn the ball over 4 times.
3.
Just 3.
And then the
which against Ohio State is just way too many.
3, and then the really stupid decision to go for it on 4th and 2 and run a quarterback sneak on the first drive of the game. You need almost 3 yards. You need 2.5 full yards, nearly 3, and you run quarterback sneak, and Aiden Childs never sniffs the first down marker. That was, I mean, like, yeah, they just shot themselves in the foot. Obviously, nobody was expecting Michigan State to really be as scrappy as they were against Ohio State. I mean, you have, at one point, Ohio State's win probability dropped down to its lowest at 88%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a threat.
Not a threat. So, yeah, a 2. That's all I got, unless you have anything to say.
Negative.
Let's
so
move
onward then.
To the NFL.
To the NFL, which means,
apparently,
according to the notes, you are going first, and your Cincinnati football Bengals have won a football game.
The Cincinnati Bengals have won a football game, yes. Woo!
against what is likely going to be a team of the top 5 draft pick come next year.
Yeah, against the Carolina Panthers. Some encouraging things and some discouraging things here for the Bengals. For the first time all season, Joe Burrow has not had to look like a MVP candidate to win a football game. He was fairly pedestrian, throwing for 232, 2 scores. He threw his first interception on just kind of a mistake play where him and Jamar Chase just got confused and weren't on the same page. The Bengals forced a couple punts. Being said, that defense still ain't great. Cam Taylor-Britt got benched. He's Eli Apple.
That's a good decision there from Zach Taylor.
Lou Anarumo.
Oh, well.
DC, Cam Taylor-Britt's Eli Apple. He is Eli Apple, where he'll make maybe one good play a game, and he'll make that phenomenal play that people will talk about all season in the Chiefs game, where he made that one-handed interception over Xavier Worthy, and then every other play he's ass.
I really do think that the CJ Gardner-Johnson comparison is probably the most accurate, because as much as what Cam Taylor-Britt has said this year has drawn headlines and whatnot, he's not as loud with it as CJ is.
No.
CJ just comes out intending to disrespect his opponent, and if you listen to Cam Taylor-Britt, he's not. He's just not trying to offend them in a really offensive way.
So I switched over to Eli Apple. You and I were talking about it. I switched over to Eli Apple because unlike CJ Gardner-Johnson, Cam Taylor-Britt sees the field in the regular season. Is healthy enough to play.
He's a healthy CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, when did I don't remember Eli Apple ever really getting in trouble for shit that he said outside of a couple instances. But Eli Apple was just, give or take, on any given week, could be the worst player in the NFL.
Yes. I will say Cam Taylor-Britt might not be the worst player in the NFL, because Eli Apple is still in the NFL.
It was between Eli Apple and former Giants offensive lineman Eric Flowers. Remember Eric Flowers?
I do, unfortunately.
He was one of the worst football players of all time.
Yeah.
I will die on that hill. He has to be the worst offensive lineman of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of the amount of games that he played.
Yeah.
And how little he did.
Yeah. So this was a must-win for the Bengals. The Andy Dalton revenge tour might be dead. Bengals win 34-24. The Panthers, this game really, the Bengals went up 21-14 into halftime, got the ball, scored on their first drive, I believe. Yes, first drive right out of the locker room. Added a field goal in the third quarter to go up 31-14. And the Panthers were just never able to claw back because they're not a good team. They tried to hang around, and obviously they did. But
am I looking at these stats correctly? Did the Panthers run a failed fake punt?
yes.
I say Johnny Hecker, 0 of 1 QB quarterback or rating in general of 39.6. So
yeah, that did happen. Yeah.
You want to know how many games Eric Flowers played in the NFL?
Sure, since we have it.
105. 101 of those were starts. That's more than I expected. I just had to know.
That's bad.
105 games for 6 different teams.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Like, this Panthers team didn't really, especially in the first half, just hung around. The defense, this Bengals defense still ain't great. Like, maybe with getting some guys back, because, I mean, they are very banged up, as seems to be the norm with this Bengals team since Zach Taylor's took over. Getting guys back, Miles Murphy, Rankins on the defensive line may help. Right now, the panic is at a 6.5.
Okay. I was expecting higher here.
It's this division, this AFC North seems to be really bad this year. Even though, I mean, you look at it, Pittsburgh's 3-1. We saw what Baltimore just did to Buffalo on Sunday night. This game this week they have Baltimore will be very telling. The Bengals have one of the easy, and the Bengals do have one of the easier schedules upcoming, other than really just having to play the Ravens twice and then the Eagles. So this week will be very telling.
Yeah, very much so. Beat the Panthers, cool. You should have.
Yeah. Which is why I give it a solid 6.5.
All right. Well,
onto
my
your...
Detroit Football Lions, they played their best game of the year, no doubt about it. This is a Seattle team that we had played 2 years straight. The first time, and we talked about this last week, the first time, didn't force a punt. I think the Lions may have punted once. That was a really high-scoring game. Last year, just didn't do enough. Seattle won at Ford Field last year. And then this year, it's hard to say if it could have gone a lot better. And especially heading into this game, missing a lot of key pieces. Brian Branch out with the illness, stemming from the concussion that he suffered the week prior. No Frank Ragnow at center. The only good news about that is that this is why I said when it came to NFL free agency, if you are going to keep one player over, if it's Graham Glasgow or Jonah Jackson, if you can only keep one, you keep Graham Glasgow, because look at what they did. You shuffle around the offensive line, you throw Graham Glasgow in there at center, and he played a great game. He really, really did. And this was the first time all season that the offense looked like you'd imagine that they looked. Goff with a turnover-free game, which is very nice. In fact, an incompletion-free game, which was just crazy. The most completions, the most attempts in an NFL game without an incompletion at 18 for 18,
and
with the 2 touchdowns. And
let me add on to that real quick. Just a random piece of history.
Yeah.
The first time a quarterback's done it since Kurt Warner back in 2005.
What?
The game without an incompletion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I felt like I remembered the last one being Phillip Rivers, but he came damn close.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. That's right. So not only did Jared Goff individually make some NFL history, but the Lions made some history as well. The first time in, I want to say, or the 5th time in NFL history, rather, that you had 2 players pass for a touchdown and catch a touchdown on the Amon-Ra St. Brown 7-yard pass to Jared Goff. And when I saw that play, I said, I want to guarantee that this play has probably been in the playbook, and they probably practiced this since Ben Johnson became OC.
Probably.
And Goff confirmed that and said, because somebody asked him, how long has that been in there? And Goff goes, well, a couple years. and he's like, we just haven't gotten the right look to call it. We've called it before and then had to switch out of it. I mean, there are just so many wrinkles. The Lions have this one play a week. Last week they had the hook and ladder. Seattle pulled one off on us in this game as well. But every week there is just that one play, it seems, where it's just like, what the hell? But no complaints from me. Not a run-heavy game. Leading rusher in terms of carries and yards was Jahmyr Gibbs. 14 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. An outstanding running back duo of Gibbs and Montgomery. You just get the best of both worlds with both of them. Gibbs can make anybody miss, and David Montgomery can run through a motherfucker's face at any given time. I really don't have a lot of complaints. The biggest panic that there is when it comes to the Lions is just the division they play in. Because look at Minnesota right now.
Fuck.
I really don't quite understand what's going on with the Vikings and Sam Darnold, but that's happening. And then Green Bay can't be counted out either, even though they sucked fuck for 2 quarters.
3 quarters
against Minnesota
almost
last week, and then came back and made it a close game, which was incredible. But the Bears are the Bears. You don't really have to worry about them too much. But you got 3 teams right now that are looking really strong to win this division. And a long way to go still. But in terms of just the team and the performances that we've had, we had the one game against Tampa Bay where just nothing seemed to go right offensively when we reached the red zone. I don't have any other real complaints. I mean, the first 3 games were a little messy. Let the Rams back in it in the second half. Let the Cardinals back in it a little bit last week. But this was a complete game, and it's bad when Seahawks fans are bitching about the refs. Well, that 2-point conversion should have counted. Okay, cool. I'll give you that.
You still lose by...
It's 42-31. Cool.
Yeah, you still...
there was the pass interference on the OPI on DK Metcalf. Fuck off. You still lose.
Yeah.
Goddamn. So my panic meter this week is at a lowly 1.4. Because the panic meter, I believe, is set up for, do you think your team's bad? I don't really have a lot of concerns that the Lions are bad. 1.4 heading into week 5 and a bye week.
I don't know if the Bengals are bad. The offense is good, but that defense is ass, which is why they get a 6.5.
That's fair.
Let's move on to, I believe we have the not NFL.
We have your games of the week here.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I forgot we don't have a graphic for that.
No, I forgot it was in there.
No big deal. We got a few games to preview with the games of the week. 2 from college, 1 from the NFL, because there's a lot of really shitty NFL games again.
Yes.
Starting Saturday at noon on ABC, if I remember correctly. Number 9 Missouri travels to College Station to take on number 25 Texas A&M. We'll talk more about it in the picks. I don't want your pick. I just want some initial... I don't want your pick, obviously, because we're going to be making them in 15 minutes. I just want some initial thoughts. Texas A&M is a 2-point favorite at home.
Well, you said you didn't want my pick, so I don't really know what else to say. It doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. Really. I don't get it. I get that Texas A&M is ranked again, and I mean Mizzou is Mizzou, I guess historically. But what does Texas A&M do well outside of run the ball?
Yeah. This is kind
they don't rank well in anything else.
No, they do not. This is kind of a big game for Missouri. I don't know what Vegas sees here in the spread, and obviously I'll give you my pick in a little bit. Missouri, their last 2 games, they're just coming off a bye week going into this one, have looked like hot ass against
which is why we're where we are, but
which is how we get here. I mean, Texas A&M we know is hot ass. We don't know if Missouri's how bad Missouri is. Obviously, they looked terrible against BC. They went into double overtime against Vandy. This is a big game for them if they want to have a shot at the college football playoff. Looking at how the SEC is. I mean, yes, I know Ole Miss just lost in a head scratcher, but Tennessee looks Tennessee looks really good. Alabama and Georgia, we saw what they did on Saturday night, and then Texas right now looks really good too. So Missouri, they need this game in a really bad way.
That they do. I mean, gotta win your conference games, no doubt about it. If you're Missouri, can't afford a misstep in an even bigger SEC than anyone's ever seen. You just can't lose games like this. And now Texas A&M is probably going to finish the season worse than them. But you lose this, you open the door for somebody else. You got to make that conference championship game. You want to control your own destiny. So got to keep it rolling if you're Mizzou.
Yep. I agree. And now moving on, I don't know if this game's going to be good, but
neither do I.
This game has at least got some intrigue, which is how it makes it here in the game of the week. Number 10, Michigan travels to Seattle, Husky Stadium, to take on Washington. Washington's, strangely enough, a 2.5-point favorite. I called this Washington Huskies team Friday night against stupid Rutgers. Washington can't defend the run, so I don't know what Vegas sees here. Some initial thoughts.
Well, if you listen to Joel Klatt, who I do believe picked Washington to win this game, if you listen to Joel Klatt, he thinks that Washington is going to have success passing the ball on Michigan's defense, where half of it, one side of the field, is just going to be a no-fly zone. Do you really want to test Will Johnson?
Is he back post-injury?
Not confirmed yet, but
okay,
I would imagine so.
I mean, I do get your point regardless, so I was just curious.
And even, what's his name? Jair Hill, the corner who looked like absolute ass against Texas, who Texas targeted every single time, got an interception last week, has looked much better, and I don't really see what Klatt said is what Klatt sees here. I don't get it. But then again, there is some bias, of course, involved. But you might have some success, sure, with some short passes, I guess. Maybe you break a couple. But in terms of pass coverage right now, if Michigan heads into this game healthy, I don't really see what how they're gonna do it. I mean, let's take a look actually and see if I can find this injury report. Michigan injuries.
So I'm okay. While you do that, I'm gonna, like I said, I covered Washington last week on Sidecast against stupid Rutgers. Their run
defense. Will Johnson is not even on the injury report.
Okay. So yeah, that you lose half the field. Will Rogers, Mississippi State transfer, did not look good against a Rutgers team that, I mean, they do all right in pass coverage, pass defense, but they're definitely worse than Michigan. This and Kyle Monangai, who we both know is a dude at Rutgers, made this Washington run defense look just absolutely dumb. At one point, Washington had Rutgers pinned on their 3-inch line, inside the 1. Monangai breaks one for 50 yards.
just really good.
Flips
He's
the
just really good. If Rutgers hangs in that game against Michigan last year, if Kyle Monunga carries a single ball in the second half.
And Khalil Mullings he very well could be a dude. He's really good. And this
Size 15 shoe.
Yeah, got some big feet there. Michigan in a scenario with, not unlike Missouri. I know Missouri doesn't have a loss yet. Michigan with the one loss to Texas, and then knowing who they have coming up throughout October and November with Oregon and Ohio State looming off in the distance. This is a gotta-have-it game for Michigan, and I don't really see what Vegas sees. I spent 3 hours of my life on Friday night calling a Washington Huskies football game, and it was not. Washington has some dudes, but they shouldn't hang.
Hopefully not.
And our final game of the week, we only have one for the NFL. The Buffalo Bills are a 1-point favorite as they travel to the Texans. Some initial thoughts?
This is a game against two teams that I actually really like.
Two teams that look really good.
Yeah, and Houston is a little bit inconsistent to start the year, but more often than not has just come out and looked really, really good. CJ Stroud in his second year is actually proving to be a good NFL quarterback out of the Ohio State University, which, I can't even hate CJ Stroud. I wish I could. I can't. He's just really, really fucking good.
Yes, he is.
And the groups of receivers that he's got, man, oh man, were, for whatever reason, I don't remember who said this. Somebody wants the Davante Adams. And actually, no, it wasn't Davante Adams. It was Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes, DeAndre Hopkins back to the Texans.
D-Hop was good when he was with the Texans, but why do you want to?
He'd be like wide receiver 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Diggs and Nico Collins, I don't think you pass up for an older receiver in D-Hop.
No. And
I don't get that.
No,
Watch them be in the mix for Davante Adams when they don't need to be.
I would say, and right now Tank Dell is still questionable, but he's good too.
I'd start Tank Dell over him.
Yeah.
Tennessee is where wide receivers go to die. He will never be the same.
Nope.
But this is deservedly, talking about the spread but not making a pick. This is very deservedly, essentially a pick 'em here. So
yes, very much so.
I have no fucking clue.
Two teams that, the Bills got pummeled Sunday night against the Ravens. Houston had a head scratcher where they got pummeled by the Vikings week 3. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, when the Vikings beat two teams back to back that made you scratch your head.
Yeah, when they beat the 49ers and then the Texans. Yeah, week 3. Two teams that, they've had some really big clunker games, but they've also looked really good at points. This game could be fun. I can't remember what time it is. Hopefully it's in a good time slate. It's not. It's at 1 o'clock.
Gross.
Figures. And that is your games of the week. Let's move on to the MLB postseason preview. Predictions.
Well, it's not really a preview. It's more so predictions, given that we are already very, very close to being through the wild card round. Game 3 of Mets Brewers is in the top of the 9th. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Mets just added on more. It is a 4-2 Mets lead.
My bracket might be very dead.
Well, my bracket is dead as well, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Necessarily.
Mine's
except apparently it is. Looking at my bracket, apparently I did not pick a winner of Mets Brewers. Either that or it hasn't updated yet. It looks to me. Wait. No, I did. I picked the Brewers. Okay. Well, regardless.
I did too. How do we want to do this?
Well, let's just run down from top to bottom and go over what we had.
Okay.
So, the number 4 seed, Baltimore Orioles. The number 5 seed, Kansas City Royals. That ended in a 2-0 sweep by the KC Royals. And I picked Baltimore.
Yeah, so did I.
So, first pick, bracket's dead. But
Yeah.
we knew that. I see that in the Go Live notification.
First
the
pick,
tweet.
we are
Loser.
This isn't a bracket, but
just like the Kansas City Royals are.
Loser.
oh, you're hitting buttons.
Yeah.
I see.
Hitting the loser button.
So then we move on to a series near and dear to my heart that had my heart stopping multiple times. The 3 seed Houston Astros have been swept by my Detroit Tigers 2-0.
Hate it for them. Hate it. Just absolutely,
Astros.
absolutely hate it for them. My heart doesn't go out to them at all. Sucks to suck.
I don't think we could have gotten a worse broadcasting crew to do this series than what we did. Michael Kay?
Oh, I would say I didn't watch either of these 2 games. Ugh.
See ya! We got Michael Kay
Ugh.
in the booth
Ugh.
with Tim Kirkchin.
It keeps getting worse.
And the only tolerable one in the booth was Todd Frazier. Wow. But anyway, back to the series. I wasn't sure about the Tigers' chances because it really all came down to one game. You had to win the Tarek Skubal start.
Yep.
You didn't do that. You were done. And everyone didn't believe that the Tigers were going to be able to hit Framber Valdez. Nobody really had a crazy game at the plate in this game, in game 1. But they did. They were able to get a hit off. They were able to get hits off Framber, and controlled the game. Really, all game. I mean, Tarek Skubal, phenomenal, of course. I mean, it's just what we've come to expect from him. You get number 29 on the mound for the Detroit Tigers, and you just know that you have more often than not a better chance than your opponent to win the game. It just is what it is. Skubal has been on another planet. Then. We knew how game 1 was going to go. It was going to be Tarek Skubal. Hinch said that. Who else were you going to throw out there?
Yep.
And then game 2, we get into the other part of that quote from AJ Hinch of pitching chaos. And oh boy, did we get it.
Yep.
I want to say there were 7 combined pitchers that came in and got that done. In a 5-3 final, I do believe. Wow. And so the Astros take the lead late in that game. And all of a sudden, you're just like, oh, fuck. We're going to game 3. And then we go back to death, taxes, Andy Ibanez getting hits against left-handers. And even though the left-hander makes $20 million and his name Josh Hader, Andy Ibanez against left-handed pitching is inevitable. And I can't for the life of me explain it. But he is so good. Now, ESPN, again, terrible job on this. That ball was hit hard down into the left field corner. And it ruled a fair ball. We never saw the ball bounce. No, not anything.
Hell yes, ESPN.
No replays, no anything.
ESPN's always been ass when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, they just don't care.
Yeah.
But thank you, Andy Ibanez. We went from no playoff games in 10 years, no playoff wins in 11 to sweeping the Astros. And the Tigers, if you can beat Houston, you can beat just about anybody in the playoffs. I don't know. I really don't get how this team is doing it. I have said from the very beginning of this crazy run that if we get in, like if we make the playoffs, it's just all gravy from there.
Yeah.
I'm good with whatever happens. I mean, we just won a playoff series against, albeit a different Astros team than what won the World Series twice, but that's it. Doesn't I mean, the Houston Astros are still incredibly talented, and I mean, Hunter Brown in Game 2 pitched outstanding, but it just wasn't enough. And the Detroit Baseball Tigers are moving on to play the Cleveland Guardians, who had a bye. I picked the Tigers in this one.
I picked Houston in this one because, like, and we talked about it at work today too. You knew you had to win the Tarek Skubal start.
Yes.
You knew, and I figured they'd be able to win game 1 or whatever game they started Tarek Skubal.
I mean, it's tough because Framber Valdez is very, very good.
Yeah,
but
and Houston has pitchers.
They do. I mean, Hunter Brown had a terrible month of April and then was outstanding.
I was not
from May onward. Hunter Brown was incredible.
I was not incredibly confident in them winning games 2 and 3 because, yeah, you get the question of, okay, well, we know we gotta start Tarek Skubal. Who do you start in game 2 and then 3? And Hinch's response is pitching chaos.
The answer was fucking Tyler Holton.
Yeah.
Do you know who Tyler Holton is?
Until yesterday, no. And as of right now, still, you want to know how I know who Tyler Holton is, or what I know about Tyler Holton? He's an MLB player for the American League Central team, the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. Great head of lettuce too, by the way.
That's all I got on Tyler Holton.
But yeah, no, Tyler Holton. Hold on, I gotta pull this up just because of how many different pitchers we put into this game, and there was one appeared misstep of putting a rookie, and when I say a rookie, I mean he got the call up in late September in the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball, Jackson Jobe.
Yeah,
that didn't work out well, but I really don't think that was all that much of Jobe's fault. Torkelson kind of screwed him in on that. Matt Vierling hesitated a little bit on a ball, caught in foul territory. Didn't expect Houston to send the runner. They did. But this is the list of pitchers that the Tigers, and nobody even pitched 2 innings in this game.
Jesus.
Tyler Holton pitched the first. No hits allowed, 1 strikeout. Brendan Hanafy, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
Okay.
Brant Herter, inning and 2/3, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk. Bo Breesky, inning and 2/3, walk, strikeout. By the way, no earned runs on any of those guys. Then we do get out to Jackson Jobe, who only pitched a third of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned. No walks, no K.
Jobe is now 5, right? Or is he 4?
Jobe is 5, yes.
5, okay. Yep.
Who currently, by the way, Jackson Jobe has a postseason career ERA of 54.
Ooh.
So not good.
No, was that bad?
It's not good, but Jobe is very talented. A lot of people are not really understanding the move. Like I said, I think Jobe went out and really did his job well. Just
no, it's just a tough side.
Couple, and I mean the errors that were made defensively weren't massive ones, but they were enough to really give Houston some momentum and give them the lead. Essentially, Sean Gunter comes in, pitches an inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, near 0 Ks, but who the fuck cares? Once again, I ask you, because even I am a little bit new to Sean Gunter. Who is Sean Gunter?
He plays for the American League Central team, the Detroit Tigers. Plays MLB baseball.
Yes. And then to finish it off in the ninth inning, pitching the ninth inning, Will Vest, no hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout, which is his 5th strikeout in 2 games. I believe he went 4 of 5 for strikeouts and batters faced in game 1. So 8 batters, he struck out 5.
That's good.
Yeah. So I was on the Tigers. They move on. Guardians are on a bye. Now we're into the National League.
Like I said,
Dodgers are also on a bye.
Hate it for the Astros.
Eh.
For those of you who are listening to this on audio and not seeing it, I'm shaking my head because I'm very sarcastic. Fuck the Astros.
I mean,
Loser.
Yes, I'm not a very big fan of the Astros. If anyone wants to call me hypocritical because AJ Hinch is the manager, go ahead and do it. But I guess this Tigers team is not the first Astros team to win the World Series. We're not banging on trash cans. We're not doing any of that. We are seeing the quite possible managerial brilliance of AJ Hinch. He says, fuck having a starting rotation. He's going with the guys that he has, and he is playing the matchups every single time. Every single game, we are using the right pitchers in the right moments, the right pinch hitters in the right moments. He's pushed all the buttons for 2 straight months, and it has worked.
Real quick before we get into the whatever series we have first in the NL.
Padres Braves.
Okay, Padres Braves. We have gone final in Milwaukee. The Mets.
I was gonna wait, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I saw it.
I had it up next to me. But you were just on a roll with the Tigers, so I didn't want to say anything. We have gone final in Milwaukee. The Mets win Game 3, 4-2. They win the series 2-1.
I don't really know what my beef is with the Mets, but I was rooting for their demise. I don't know. I couldn't explain it.
Let's move on. Let's Padres Braves.
Padres Braves. Once again, this was that Brewers Mets series, the only one not swept.
Yep.
That was the only baseball game today, which is just flat out unbelievable. The number 4 seed Padres advanced 2-0 over the 5 seed Atlanta Braves, who had to scrap their way in game 162 to deny the Arizona Diamondbacks this spot. And the Braves got swept 2-0 to the San Diego Padres. So Padres move on to face the Dodgers. I was on the Padres.
This is the only series I've got right. I was on the Padres because, like we both have said, the Braves really didn't deserve to be here. They kind of stunk throughout the back half of the year.
Yeah.
Not saying
looking and seeing what happened with the Braves here would have been what happened if Minnesota had found their way into the playoffs.
Yes. This is the why do you expand the playoff kind of thing.
I mean, yeah. Generally, not a big fan of playoff expansion.
It's just weird that it happened to the 5 seed, not the 6 seed.
Yeah. However, in terms of baseball, the only way that I think they could do it a little better, which actually is expanding the playoffs even further, by the way, is you win your division, you're just good. But then at the end of the day, then we have to add like a whole nother round and everything like that. So I get why they do it this way. I would say division winners need to get a little bit more of the respect. I mean, Houston, division winner.
Yeah.
But they had to play in the wild card round. Now they do get the home field advantage against the worst of the wild card teams, which was the Tigers. Oh wait, well that didn't work out all that well for them, did it? But I don't know. There's not really a perfect answer. I mean, unless you just want to go back to straight up division winners and eliminate the wild card entirely.
Well, yeah, that is the thing. There is no good way of baseball. Like I said, the Braves didn't deserve to be in here. Arguably, you could say that the Diamondbacks didn't either, with at the back half of their season, especially in the final month, losing to some really bad teams that they did, which is how the Diamondbacks found themselves sitting out. And yeah, the Padres, we've said it all year. There was nothing really intriguing about the National League, especially the National League West. You knew the Dodgers and the Padres were going to make it in. It's just a matter of who was going to be the 1 seed, who was going to be the 4.
Yeah, unless the Diamondbacks had, or not the Diamondbacks, really. The Giants had kind of sparked some magic in there. It was really kind of always going to be the Dodgers and the Padres, as long as the Padres didn't implode. And for the most part, they didn't. So
yeah,
good for them. We'll see how they fare against LA.
Yep.
So this series now final. The Mets have moved on in the only 3-game wildcard series. Hey, maybe there's the answer. Go back to 1-game wildcards. Not only does that kind of limit the playoff games and get things really started a little bit sooner, those were some of the most entertaining
things they were
on the planet. That 1-game wildcard series, if you can even call it a series.
Yeah,
but that was those were incredible. However, I don't mind really what we have going on right now. But the Mets have advanced. I was on the Brewers, as aforementioned. So that is my second bad pick. So I went 2 for 2 in the wild card.
I was on the Brewers, and unlike you, I didn't have anything. I have nothing against the Mets.
I don't really either. I don't get my hatred for the Mets.
The Brewers were just the better team. Well, on paper, were the better team, so I had them, and the Mets advance. We get 2 6 seeds in the divisional series.
All right. So then the rest of this, given that we were so horribly wrong, in the wild card round.
Believe it or not, it still doesn't change my picks.
It changes mine.
Does it?
Yeah. So let's head up to the first of 2 ALDS series. I had Yankees Orioles. It is Yankees Royals. I did have the Orioles beating the Yankees and advancing to the ALCS.
Oh. Well, I had the Yankees beating the Orioles and advancing to the ALCS, so I'm still alive there.
Okay. All right. I was completely right on this round of the playoffs. Now, granted, there was only one pick in there, and it was the Detroit baseball Tigers advancing in there. I mean, hey, it's giving me credit here. There's a check mark next to the Guardians.
Yeah.
They advanced past the bye week.
They beat bye week. Tough opponent.
They beat bye week. Never a guarantee. I do have, or at least when I made these picks just prior to game 1, at like 1:30 when that was a 2:30 start, I did have the Guardians advancing because I wasn't really sure about trying to beat the Houston Astros. But I mean, now that I've seen a Tigers team that had 13 combined games of playoff experience, you know where those 13 games resided in? Matt Vierling. The only player on that roster that had postseason experience. So there was more players in game 2. The rest of the roster had 16 games of playoff experience. It all was in game 1. I mean, it was just that crazy. I gotta stick with the Guardians pick for one because I can't change it. But like I said, if you could beat Houston, and in the manner in which you did, where it didn't matter what they threw at you, you came out on top both times. Houston tried to come back in game 1, didn't matter. they took a lead late in game 2. Didn't matter. They can beat anyone with the way they play right now. I swear to God. But I would not be surprised if the Guardians do win this series. It certainly won't be a 3-0 sweep for the Tigers. One way or another, I really don't think so. I think we're probably set up for 4 or 5 games, of course, but I don't know. I'm just along for the ride and just enjoying it. So even if it comes to an end in the DS, I'm good with it.
This Cleveland team is special. I haven't seen one like this since 2016. I think that 2016 team was better. This Tigers team is good.
It's just a team you don't want to face right now.
I only have one.
Nobody can explain why.
I only have one knock on them. I'm getting really tired of hearing and seeing the phrase "gritty Tigers" on social media and on the radio. I'm getting really tired of getting texted that from Gavin every day.
Well, that's just because Gavin's annoying in general.
Like, that phrase is the only thing I have against this Tigers team, other than the fact that they are also an American League Central team. That's it. That's all I got on this team. Is that phrase makes me want to punt a baby.
I've never been the biggest fan of calling the Tigers the Tigers. That's just kind of my thing. And also, just because it's a Detroit team, do we really have to go with grit?
Yeah, so my thing, and I was talking to my dad and I were talking about it the other day. And as a former athlete, I do not like the phrase. Grit is one of those phrases that I don't really like because it's overused a lot in sports, because it's just kind of a cheap way to take out. And I'm not blaming. I have nothing against the Tigers, other than they're an American League Central team.
You gotta look towards, of course. I think it fits the Lions very, very well.
It does.
The Tigers team, and I can't say it doesn't fit them well either. I mean, they have been. That's why I've called them all year. They've been the Cardiac Cats, because that's just what they've been. They get to late innings in games and just pull magic out of their hat. That series against the Dodgers, the Padres as well. We had some games that we just should not have had any business winning, and we won those games. So
yeah,
I think that's more fitting for him. But at the same time, I don't think they were looking at playoff percentages on August 11th.
No,
I don't think anybody on that team did. But being a 0.2% chance, and then being under 500 in essentially mid-August, and then just battling. I get it. I mean, the phrase fits. Is it overused? Yes.
Yeah, like, so the phrase grit irritates. Just the phrasing grit irritates me. Again, like, the Tigers and Lions can't control what the media says about them. This team has to cool off at some point. He's getting the fucking grit hat. I'm about to walk to his house and punt a baby into his house. I'm about to punt a animatronic baby in through your window.
All right.
Worth it. This Tigers team, in theory, has to cool off. So I'm taking the Guardians. I was taking the Guardians, even if they had to see Houston. So yeah, my ALCS doesn't change.
All right. We move on to the NLCS, the first of two, and what is going to be, I think, a very good one. Dodgers, Padres. I had the Dodgers advancing. That was before the Padres just said, fuck it. We're going for it. We're really good. We're going to make sure everyone knows we're good.
I also have the Dodgers advancing. This series could go all 5. This series could be electric. This could be the best series to watch.
I am definitely going to be rooting for the Padres.
I just want to see Shohei Ohtani do cool shit.
Oh, you know he will.
Something that 4 years ago I wouldn't have said, most likely.
No, and what is going to be Shohei Ohtani's first postseason experience?
Free Mike Trout. The Angels are the problem.
Yes, they are. I am very much. I'm always gonna root against the teams with the big payroll, right? Because it's why everyone hates the Yankees.
Yeah.
They buy their they pay a whole shit ton of players and just count on that for their success. And now the Dodgers have gone into that same thing. Of course we want to see you fail. You're going to spend all that money? I don't want you to be successful. I'm gonna piggyback on what Bud said. I'm manifesting a Tigers Padres World Series.
I'm like, I don't want to see the Dodgers fail because they have a bunch of likable guys on that team. But I definitely get where you're coming from because you're throwing all that money around and you're just trying to buy success.
I haven't read chat in a hot second. Ash's comparison of the 2024 Tigers to the 04 Pistons is actually very, very accurate because it is just that this Tigers team is just all role players. And that is exactly what the 04 Pistons were. So fair comparison, but we move on. Mets and Phillies. I was wrong. I had the Brewers in this. Wouldn't have changed my pick. I had the Phillies advancing.
I had the Brewers in this also. Wouldn't have changed my pick. Yeah, the Mets are looking a lot better. Than they were. We saw what we saw all season from the Phillies, and they were phenomenal. One of the best teams in baseball. The second best team in baseball, actually. And we saw how they just beat up on everybody. Give me Philly. It wasn't going to change.
All right.
I want to see Bryce Harper do cool shit, too.
Yep. So, my ALCS was Orioles Guardians.
Mine was Yankees Guardians.
I had the Orioles advancing.
Okay.
I had the Orioles in the fucking World Series, and they came out and did what they did against the fucking Royals.
Laid a fucking egg.
Quite literally.
Pun intended, because Bird Team.
Bird Team, and they won a total of 0 games.
Goose egg. This Guardians team is special. They're fun to watch. Bo Naylor is great. Josh Naylor, great. Josh Naylor's better. Jose Ramirez, great. Steven Kwan, great. Emmanuel Clase is... I'm trying to find...
second in Cy Young voting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a better word, a word other than great. This team is special. I want to see Jose Ramirez do cool things and make the Yankees sad. I don't think it's going to happen.
While we are on the topic of MLB, this is not exactly breaking news that I expected to read. The Reds are hiring Terry Francona as manager. Wow. 1 year after the 2-time World Series champion stepped away from baseball.
I did not expect Tito to stay away for long. He's one of those...
Me neither. I didn't think he was going to stay away forever, but 1 year? What in the Urban Meyer is this?
That's exactly what him and Urban Meyer are very similar in that style of, this is just what they do. It's like, same thing Nick Saban. I don't think Nick Saban's going to stay away for long. He's going to get tired of being on TV.
But hey, I mean, as a Guardians fan, are you really all that mad right now? Look at where your team is.
No, because he left Stephen Vogt in a phenomenal spot and with a great coach. I have nothing but love for Tito. I hope he comes out, and I mean, obviously now that he's gone to the Reds, it might not happen. There were talks of him coming and throwing a first pitch out in one of their home games against the Tigers. Don't think it's going to happen now. Maybe we'll get... Corey Kluber's also been thrown around for whatever reason. Bring Shin-Soo Choo. Or Jason Kipnis.
Nick Swisher.
I love me some Nick Swisher. Mike Napoli.
Mike Clevenger.
No. With all this,
Trevor Bauer.
that animatronic baby I'm about to punt through your window is about to become a real baby, and you're gonna have a real problem soon.
Anyway, where do we leave off? We didn't make NLCS picks yet.
We have not.
All right, so the NLCS, I had Dodgers, Phillies.
As did I.
So no change in my pick necessarily. These are both two teams that had a first round bye, and I picked them to get through anyway. I have taken the Philadelphia Phillies.
So have I. Strangely enough.
So my World Series is already a bust since the Orioles
Since the Orioles were bad.
The Orioles did what they did. I did have the Phillies over the Orioles. I thought the Orioles were going to be the young, scrappy team to go deeper into the playoffs. Right now, that role is pretty much passed on to the Royals and Tigers.
Yeah.
Frisky and fun is what I thought the Orioles could be. They were neither frisky nor fun. They did not make the World Series as I predicted, but I had the Phillies over them anyway.
I had the Phillies beating the Yankees.
Okay. All right. So at least you didn't have a 1-1 matchup, so that's good.
Yeah.
I had a 2-4.
Let's move on to the picks.
Let's head into the picks.
As we've already made some picks.
We already have made some picks, yes, but the college football picks.
Am I on the right scene?
I hope so.
I am. Records. Jordan is 38-37. We have somebody over 500 in college picks.
Nice week for me last week. 10 correct picks.
I am 36-39. Not as nice of a week. I honestly don't know how I did last week. Obviously,
not bad. Not bad. But
8 picks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Over 500.
Yeah.
We'll take it. We start
Take
off
it away
with 2 Friday night football games. The first one, 7 p.m. CBS Sports Network, Jacksonville State, who I didn't even know was called the Gamecocks, are minus 14.5 against Kennesaw State, who is 0-4. There's a combined 1 win in this game.
I have had the misfortune of watching some Kennesaw State football, which is weird because I'm not necessarily the one on this show that likes bad football.
I do like bad football, but I have not made my way to watching a Kennesaw State game.
I mean, I've watched a lot of bad football this year with the sidecasts. Because, I mean, I do just like watching football, even if it is bad. Bad football is a bit worse, but I've watched some Kennesaw State. They are not good. They look like a team that did just come up from the FCS. Give me Rich Rod's Jacksonville State.
I can't believe I'm picking Rich Rod to do anything, but give me the Cox.
Kennesaw State, by the way, is 127th or worse offensively in every stat. 134th out of 134 teams in total yards per game.
What do you expect from a team that was only recently brought up to FBS?
Yeah.
Our second Friday night football game, 9 p.m. on Fox. Michigan State at 3-2, plus 23.5 as they travel to Autzen to take on the 4-0 6th-ranked Ducks.
I don't believe in Oregon.
Me neither.
I have not believed in Oregon at all this year. They've had some clunkers. This could be a clunker. Because, like I said, against Ohio State, like I said earlier in the Are They Ass, or Panic Meter, whatever you want to call it, Michigan State was scrappy early on. I think they could be scrappy early on in this game. But give me Oregon to cover. Oregon's just too good. They're going to break some plays just like Ohio State did. And Oregon they'll cover and people will be like, oh man, this Oregon team could be really good. And it's tough stretch for MSU right now. Ugh.
Very true. I think Michigan State does just enough to cover. They will not really be in this game, but you're giving me 3 touchdowns, more than 3 touchdowns. I will take MSU to make enough plays to cover the 23.5.
Fair enough.
We move on. This game. I don't know if we can call it our shit fest of the week. Because Northern Illinois, for a MAC team, fairly good. I mean, beat Notre Dame. Come on. They are minus 17.5 at home against FBS or FCS.
Nope.
No?
FBS.
FBS.
Independent.
FBS Independent. 1-4. The UMass Minutemen.
Just like is in their name, UMass is ass. Give me Northern Illinois.
Yeah. Not really much of a thought about this one. Give me the Huskies. By the way, when's the next come game between UMass and Connecticut? Anyway, we head into the Saturday slate at noon. ABC in game of the week. Number 9, Missouri, 4-0. Hadn't looked good the last couple weeks against number 5, 4-1, Texas A&M. Mizzou, the 9th-ranked team in the country, is a 1.5-point road dog.
Like I said in the game of the week preview, Missouri needs this game in a bad way. Like we also said, I don't know what Vegas sees here. That's always been a trap for me. Give me Missouri.
I'm on Missouri as well. It's Texas A&M in a big game that isn't against Alabama. I really don't have a lot of faith. Texas A&M could really turn their season around and get right back into the thick of things with a win here. But I think Mizzou cleans it up. They get it done. And obviously a win and obviously cover 1.5.
Yeah.
Saturday, 12 o'clock, CBS. We have a battle of service academies. 4-0 Navy minus 8.5, taking on 1-3 Air Force.
Navy. I've been high.
It's just not even a thought.
I've been high on this Air Force team in the past, even this year at points. And they just haven't looked good. So give me Navy. Navy has looked good. And their first year in a conference, by the way.
Yes. I don't know what is playing on my TV over there, but it's loud as hell and annoying. Give me Navy. Even though 8.5 is a big spread for a service academy game, it is just too big, or it's not big enough actually for how good Navy's running game is. They're top 25 in the country. I think they're 13th in rushing offense in the country, which you'd expect from a team running the option. I am on the midshipmen. We head along to noon on Fox. UCLA, they are 1-3 and they are plus 28.5, taking on number 7 Penn State in Happy Valley.
I'm not high on Penn State. Haven't been all year.
No.
They've looked pretty bad in some games. That being said, UCLA is fucking horrible. Give me Penn State here. This will be a beat the drum game for Penn State where, oh, look how good we are. Look how good we are. This is one of their games like they've had against some of their MAC schools like Kent State. And yeah.
I'm getting hooked. 28.5. I'm biting on the hook. And so are many people. The people spread is not big on this at all. Only 52% on Penn State. I'm taking the bait. Give me UCLA. We head into another Big Ten shitfest, however. Noon on Big Ten Network. 1-3 Purdue. Hudson Card leads the Boilermakers into Camp Randall to take on 2-2 Wisconsin. Wisconsin minus 13.5.
Will Purdue win another game this year?
Yeah, of course they will.
They'll Purdue somebody.
They'll Purdue. Even a bad Purdue team can still Purdue you.
Yeah, that's starting to get worrisome since I'm going to be traveling to Columbus for Ohio State's game against Purdue in November.
Every week we go without a Purdue. The Purdue sample size and just how many teams can get Purdue shrinks down.
Yeah.
There's gonna be one.
This could be a Purdue candidate because the Purdue does travel sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Because this Badgers team is bad.
Yes.
That being said, this Purdue team is also really bad. Give me the Badgers. They will probably just cover it, winning by 14. They gave USC a fight.
They did. I am making a very last-second pick change. You know what? I'm rocking with the Purdue.
Okay.
I'm rocking with the Purdue because Wisconsin is not good. Purdue's not good either. And the spread is not really all that favorable to me. But I am taking the Boilermakers, boiler up, hammer down, gimme Purdue. Have you heard the boiler up, hammer down story?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. A 1 o'clock game on a Saturday, ESPN Plus.
This game should
From
be played
the
at
American.
11 a.m.
Hey, props to these two teams right here. The American Athletic Conference is holding strong together. Conferences wanted Tulane. They didn't get them. 3-2 Tulane minus 14.5 on the road taking on UAB. The Blazers.
I mean, I've been high on Tulane.
I've been high on Tulane really the last 3 years.
Yeah, they're a really good group of 5 team. If you have, as we all knew it was coming at some point, if you have $11.62 and you are in the Birmingham, Alabama area on Saturday at 1 o'clock, save your $11.62 because this game ain't going to be good. Give me the Tulane Green Wave to roll wave through.
I disagree with that because for $11.62 you can go see a real good group of 5 team in Tulane. Roll all over the Blazers. They will win by more than 14.5. I am on the Green Wave.
Yeah, so am I. If you couldn't tell by me struggling to come up with something.
Saturday, 3:30 CBS, 3-1 Iowa, and the vaunted Iowa defense, maybe, kinda, plus 20.5, taking on number 3, the Ohio State University.
Yay, another CBS game. I can't get excited for the CBS crew. I can't. Why
not? You'll probably get Nestler.
Yeah, and Danielson.
Danielson's fine.
It's just, I mean, it's better than who we had last week, and it's better who we'll have than who we'll have next week on NBC.
True.
Give me Ohio State. Like this Iowa offense is pathetic against any defense that has a pulse. Their offense isn't great against defenses that have a pulse either. Their defense isn't great against offenses that have a pulse either.
I am gonna bank on the fact that the Iowa defense acts like the Iowa defense, and Cade McNamara does just enough to cover, even though once again I'm picking a not so favorable spread. Give me Iowa. I think they are they're a better team than Michigan State. I think they got a chance. I think they got a chance to cover. However, Ohio State probably could have done much more against Michigan State last week, so I'm probably going to regret that. We want to talk about ticket pricing. Let's take a look at our next game. Number 23, Indiana, is on the road, traveling to the waterfront, known as Northwestern's temporary field.
This ticket price only has to be this high because there's like 6,000 seats at that stadium.
Are there even that many?
Maybe not.
Tickets starting at $192. Whoa.
I've called this Northwestern team, I called them week 2 in the Battle of the Nerds. They're not good. They got a couple dudes, but then they got a bunch of guys that just ain't great. I'm not really high on the Hoosiers, but give me Indiana.
I'm on Indiana. I think Maryland is better than Northwestern, and
I agree.
even though Maryland scored some points, that still wasn't really ever close. Hoosiers had that all the way. They'll be able to take care of Northwestern, hopefully, rather easily. So give me the Hoosiers away from the block of concrete. 4 o'clock FS1, stupid Rutgers, who's slightly less stupid these days. They're 4-0. Plus 7.5 taking on the Patrick Mahomes cosplayer and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Give me Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, give me Rutgers. I'm
Give me
really not even
Rutgers.
thinking about it. Nebraska and Purdue set college football back, I would say 10 years, but they set college football back to the point that Penn State, Illinois did years and years ago with the 9 overtime game. They set it back to that point, and then that game set us back 10 years. So I don't know where we're at now. What year is it? Give me stupid Rutgers.
Yeah.
Saturday, 7:30 ABC, number 4 Tennessee, 4-0, minus 13.5, taking on Arkansas.
Give me Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't have a reason to pick Arkansas.
Not giving me 2 touchdowns. Tennessee really hasn't had any major slip-ups yet. I can't pick against them. Maybe this game changes that, but I really highly doubt it. 7:30 on the Big Ten Network, number 11 USC, who is 3-1, takes on the Minnesota Golden Gophers in a matchup of the last 2 Michigan football victims, I guess, if you can call it that, in some games that Michigan really, really desperately tried to give away. Minnesota, an 8.5-point home dog.
This is I've said it all year. This is a Lincoln Riley game. I've said it about a lot of teams. This is going to be that Lincoln Riley game where USC is going to come out and probably trounce Minnesota. And then people are going to get back on USC forgetting about how they lost to Michigan. And I'll be sitting here, whoa.
I am
Give me the Trojans, though.
taking the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I think they're just scrappy. They
That's
are
fair.
they're one of the best bad teams, I think, in college football right now. I mean, they're sub 500, but I mean, North Carolina, not good. You only lost that game because of a doink, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they've been close so many times over the course of the season. This might be the hill that I die on. Like when I said that Nebraska was one of the worst teams in the country years and years ago because they played in a whole bunch of one-score games. We play in a one-score game here with Minnesota. I cover. So I'm taking the Golden Gophers.
Fair enough.
Saturday, 7:30, NBC, Big Ten. Saturday night, it is a national championship rematch. The 10th-ranked Michigan Wolverines, but just seems insanely high. Plus 2.5, taking on 3-2 Washington. And I got to bring up the people spread in this because if Vegas is trapping us, if Vegas knows something we don't, it's fooling a whole bunch of people because 73% of the people are on Michigan.
Like I said, I covered Washington in my sidecast last week. Other than Jonah Coleman, their running back, Denzel Boston, their wide receiver, they ain't great. Will Rogers is not nearly as good as what people were expecting. This Washington team's not great. This could be one of the national championship rematches of time.
It will be.
It's not going to be good.
Hey, where's Giles Jackson?
He's still on Washington.
I know. By the way, tickets starting at $60 nice.
Giles Jackson, I want to real quick because you brought him up, is probably the sole reason Washington lost this game because of his just innate undesire to, after he would catch a Will Rogers pass, to cut up field.
Game, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lost that game against Rutgers. I'm sorry. I may have said this game. He was quite possibly, the kicker missed 3 field goals. And you had the one dumbass on Washington who, after a field goal was blocked, he was on the side. Dumbass on Washington was on the sideline and then celebrating, jumped into the field of play while play was happening. Giles Jackson lost Washington that game because of his innate undesire to cut up field after he would catch a pass and just run laterally to the line, to the first down marker, to the line again instead of, cutting up field to get first downs. I don't know what Vegas sees. Some people say I'm a man of the people. In this case, they're right. Give me Michigan.
Okay. All right. I'm on Michigan. I don't get it. I don't get why Michigan's ranked 10th, but I also don't get why we're underdogs here. Don't understand it. Give me Michigan. Simple as that. And we end the college picks with Big 12 After Dark. 2024 college football is weird as hell. Saturday, 11 p.m. on Fox. Texas Tech, who's 4-1, a 5.5-point road dog taking on Arizona.
Arizona just beat Utah. They're looking kind of like they were last year with Fatifa and Tetero and McMillan, looking like the Arizona team we saw last year. Give me Arizona.
In terms of how Arizona played last week, this pick is going to make me look really stupid. But in terms of their season-long rankings to this point, I just don't see anything that tells me to pick the Wildcats here. This is another one where I'm probably going to look really stupid. But give me Texas Tech as we move in to the NFL picks.
NFL, I am 34-30. We have somebody who's over 500. Jordan is 28-36.
Yeah, I cannot gain any ground in the NFL picks at all.
You had a chance because I forgot to make a pick for the Thursday night game.
Well, and so get this, I didn't, but it just didn't save. So that's phenomenal. So that's 2 Thursday games in a row that I have just given up, even though I made a point to not do that this week, and then I load them up once you said that today, and I don't have a pick. I did it at work. I asked Avery about the game.
Rip.
I would have bet on the Buccaneers, so, and I mean, that's actually looking fairly good right now. We're in a tie game, fourth quarter. But
yeah.
It's an L for both of us no matter what happens because no pick.
I would have also been on the Buccaneers, but it doesn't matter because we both suck.
We're bad. We're bad at this. So I guess we move into the Sunday slate, and we have a London game. Yay. The 2-2 goddamn Jets plus 2.5 as they take on the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't have a reason to pick the Jets after what they just did this past week against the Denver Broncos.
No, that was. If we were still doing full NFL recaps, we could have spent probably an hour just talking about that game on its own. Yeah. One of the worst football game. Bo Nix is the winning quarterback in that matchup, and he had -7 passing yards at halftime.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers passed for over 200. Bo Nix finished the game with 70, and the Broncos won. What the hell?
Yeah, I've searched for a reason all week to pick the Jets. I can't. Give me Sam Darnold and the Vikings to go to 5-0.
My only reason in picking the goddamn Jets is to manifest the downfall of this Sam Darnold-led Vikings improbable season right now. Something good needs to happen to the Detroit Football Lions in terms of the division. This is where it turns. The Jets defense holds back Sam Darnold, and hey, Sam Darnold revenge game or Jets revenge game against Sam Darnold. Really, Sam Darnold should be looking for more revenge, but I'm taking the Jets. That's probably going to be a terrible pick. Vikings are going to win by 3 touchdowns. Into the real Sunday slate, 1 o'clock on Fox, the 1-3 Panthers plus 3.5 taking on another shit fest in the Chicago Bears.
This game's gonna suck. Give me the Panthers, though.
Yes! We're on the same page with this. Bears offense has done very, very little, even in their wins, to really give you a lot of confidence. That Bears defense is good, but the offense for the Chicago Bears does just little enough that the Panthers are able to at least keep it within 3. Give me Andy Dalton and the Panthers.
Yep.
Good Lord. Give me Johnny Hecker and the Panthers. I don't know. Maybe he should be the quarterback. 1 o'clock CBS, the 2-2 Baltimore Ravens. Bad start to the year. They've looked really good in their last 2 weeks. -2.5 on the road as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh boy, like I said, and are they ass or panic meter, whatever. This game could really make or break the Bengals season. Derrick Henry, by the way, I'm gonna throw out a number to you. 298.
Oh.
298. That number is the 1 yard more than the NFL single game rushing yards record held by one Adrian Peterson. He was a dude. Derrick Henry could break it. If he runs like he did against the Bills.
What a game for him last week.
If he runs
199.
If he runs like he did against the Bills, because I think this Bengals offense will be able to keep the Bengals in the game. But Derrick Henry will still keep getting touches. If he runs like he did against the Bills, he might run for 300 yards. So give me the Ravens here.
Ravens are hot. I really probably should have picked them last week. I didn't. Not going to make that mistake again. Cool, the Bengals got in the win column, but...
Against a terrible team.
But Derrick Henry to the Ravens was always just such a fit. And we saw that last week. King Henry is fucking back. The demise of Derrick Henry has been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah.
Give me the Ravens. 1 o'clock CBS. The Buffalo Bills 3-1, trying to bounce back from that loss to the Ravens in a pick'em with the Tennessee Football Titans. That's not right. It's the Houston Texans. Christ alive.
Jesus. Whoa, how did we go wrong there?
It's getting real late.
Give me the Texans here. I like them a little bit better.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I don't know. A little bit more experience. Been together a little bit longer, especially at quarterback. Like Josh Allen's been doing this a little while. The Texans defense is good. So Josh Allen, this could be a very Josh Allen-esque game where he turns the ball over too much. But I'm going to rock with the Bills. I think they get it done. 1 o'clock CBS, the Indianapolis Colts, who shit has gone so very wrong for them. I really believed in the Colts at the start of the year, but Anthony Richardson's inconsistent and now probably hurt. So Joe Flacco had to come in and save the day for this Colts team.
Yeah.
Colts plus 2.5 against the 0-4 Jags.
If you have $30 and you're in the Jacksonville area on Sunday at 1 o'clock, save your $30 because if Anthony Richardson was playing, it would be worth the price of admission at $30 because he's really fun to watch when he's playing good. Joe Flacco, not so much. That being said, this Jags team is pathetic. Give me the Colts and whoever the fuck leads them out there because they still have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, give me the Colts. Joe Flacco begins his second NFL Comeback Player of the Year campaign. He will be the first to ever win the Comeback Player of the Year back-to-back years.
Is that even possible?
The Comeback Player of the Year has no rules, so...
That is true.
Technically, yes, but no, that's not going to happen. But give me the Colts regardless. The Jags are so very broken right now. Colts are an absolute mess, but I mean, this Jags team could go 0-6, 0-7. I have no idea.
They could be one of the worst in the NFL at the end of the year.
There is no faith in them at all. 2 more 1 o'clock games, and this has just got to be the shit fest of the week. Not only because of who's playing, but because of the fact that this is a pick'em. The 1-3 Miami Dolphins taking on the 1-3 New England Patriots. Why are ticket prices at $85?
I don't know. Who's even going to be playing quarterback for the Dolphins? Give me the Dolphins, because the Patriots are just...
Is it still Tyler Huntley? Or did he die too?
It might still be Tyler Huntley. Give me the Dolphins, because they still have Tyreek Hill, and the Patriots are terrible.
Oh my... There are 24 players listed on the Miami injury report.
There's 22 for the Patriots. Yeah, give me the Dolphins, because they still have Tyreek Hill.
Listen to this. On IR for the Dolphins, linebacker Cam Brown, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Phillips, speedster Anthony Schwartz, another receiver in Taj Washington, Grayson Murphy, Patrick Morris, Keon Smith, Grant Dubose, River Craft, who the fuck is that? And Cam Smith at corner.
Yeah. Then Terrion Armstead, offensive lineman, questionable.
Yo!
Kendall Fuller, questionable with both concussions. Like, I mean, this Dolphins team still has too many things. They give me them. But this game's gonna suck.
Ash, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I'm taking the New England Patriots. They are heading into this game with the quarterback that they decided to start the season with.
That is true.
I do believe. I guess we didn't take a look at the New England injury report. Let's take a look at that. There's no way they have as many players on IR.
Bro Peppers is questionable.
They have 6 players on IR. Kyle Duggar is also questionable, which is that's why I feel like that's why this game is a pick'em, because Vegas can't even figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you got key players on both sides, questionable, out, or on IR. Like, okay, I've seen enough. This is the shit fest of the week, but I'm still taking New England. Did you make a pick? You picked Miami.
Yeah.
And the final 1 o'clock game.
Tyreek Hill at quarterback.
Fuck it. Try it. It can't be worse. Run the Wildcat with Tyreek Hill. You'd probably put up 30.
Yeah. Which might be able to beat the Patriots.
I would be willing to say without a doubt. The 1-3 Cleveland Browns are +3.5 taking on the Washington Commanders.
Browns are ass. Jaden Daniels looks really good. Give me the Commanders.
Yeah. No second thought on this at all. Commanders have had a couple really good weeks. Jaden Daniels has looked really, really good. Best rookie quarterback on the field right now. Not saying much. He's beaten out Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, but hey, you could be Caleb Williams or Bo Nix. So, also there are talks. I would absolutely love to see it, because if this trade happens, the Commanders go from they're looking good, big improvement. They land Devontae Adams.
Oh,
that team goes from meh to really scary.
Could be winning the NFC East.
Yes, especially with Dallas throwing it away as hard as they can, and Philly not looking very good, and people blaming it on Jalen Hurts, which is fair. They might be the most complete team in that division. If Terry McLaurin and Devontae Adams, that's disgusting.
That would be terrifying.
Give me the Commanders, regardless. But if that happens, watch out. The rest of the NFC, I don't care. To the 4 o'clock slate, 4:05 on Fox, the 2-2 Las Vegas Raiders +2.5 taking on the 2-2 Denver Broncos. After what Bo Nix just did.
Yeah, after what Bo Nix just did, I can't take the Broncos. Just like
I don't. I get that the Raiders aren't good either, but I don't understand the people in this game. People are on the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm not.
No.
Some say I'm a man of the people. In this case, I'm not.
Nope. Not touching it. I might not pick Denver to do anything, especially as a favorite all year. -7 passing yards in the first half.
So bad.
I can't get over it. 4:00 or 4:05 rather on Fox. The 1-3 Cardinals, who just had one good week against the LA Rams, where their offense looked insane, have looked really bad the other 3 games. They take on the defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. Still no Christian McCaffrey. They might be without McCaffrey for a long time, but Niners minus 7.5.
Give me the Niners. Like, I haven't seen enough from Arizona to say that they're able to cover, because, yeah, they had that one good week against a team that isn't great in the Rams, and at least defensively great, and everywhere else they've been kind of bad.
So I've been back and forth on this game because the Cardinals had their one good week against the Rams. The Niners are 2-2, and one of those losses came to the LA Rams. So I have no idea what to do, but I'm going to go with a more talented team, even with a funky spread of 7.5, especially for the NFL. I'm going to go with the Niners just because top to bottom, they're a better team. Gotta imagine they get their stride here eventually. 425 CBS, the Green Bay Packers minus 3.5 against the aforementioned Los Angeles Rams in what is likely to be a Packer home game, essentially.
Yeah, give me the Packers. They looked really good in that second half, especially in that fourth quarter against Minnesota, and this Rams defense just ain't great. So I don't know if the Rams offense can score enough to keep up with the Packers.
Not with no Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
When your entire offensive focus in the passing game is going to be Cooper Kupp, because they don't have great tight ends either. They don't really have much of a running game. Kyren Williams is, I think, a good player, but there's just so many questions on this Rams team. Give me Green Bay. Hate to do it, but I have to. 425 CBS, rounding out the 4 o'clock slate. The 1-3 New York Football Giants plus 6.5, heading to the 12th man to take on the Seattle Seahawks.
I can't pick the Giants.
Nope.
So, Seahawks.
They have one player that scares you. That is Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors has turned into a real bright spot for the New York Giants. He's not going to win you a football game.
I say the problem with that.
He's not even going to keep it within a touchdown.
The problem with that.
One receiver ain't going to do it for you.
The problem with that with Malik Neighbors is that Daniel Jones has to throw him the football.
Yes, we did say that at the start of the year as well, especially when I picked him in fantasy. But at the same time, they've done a good job of finding Malik Neighbors and getting him the football, and he's really turned out to be a really good pick for them. If he had a real quarterback throwing him the football, I mean, we're talking an incredible season, better than he's having right now.
Yeah. Anyhow, moving on.
Regardless, I can't pick the Giants. You're not giving me a touchdown. It's one of the worst teams in the league. That's another top 5 pick team. Give me Seattle. And I mean, hey, Seattle's offense put up a fight against a Detroit defense, a much improved Detroit defense, albeit most of their offensive successes and most of the points came from because Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold couldn't stop grabbing DK Metcalf and others. So who knows with Seattle, but I've got to rock with the Seahawks. Sunday Night Football, the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they're 2-2. They did what they did in week 1. It has been up and down ever since. So, Dallas Cowboys football plus 2.5 taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers from Acrisure Stadium.
Give me the Steelers.
Formerly known as the ketchup bottle in Heinz Field.
Give me the Steelers. They've looked the better team. Justin Fields has played really good. They've just looked better and more consistent than the Cowboys. This game could be the one that bites me in the ass because of how the Cowboys have looked. They've beat 2 bad teams though. This
is a Cowboys week. This really is, and especially you're giving me the Cowboys as a dog. The Steelers offense has looked good the past 2 weeks, I guess you could say. They scored 1 touchdown in the first 2.
Yeah, that was bad.
So I really don't know what to make of the Steelers. It's a big test for them this week in Dallas. As much as I love Pittsburgh, I don't know if they're gonna pass it. Give me Dallas. They're gonna head into a week 6 matchup with the Lions, coming off a big win against the Steelers. The Lions are gonna bring them back down to earth, hopefully. And we move into Monday Night Football, the last game of the picks. And we have, I guess, a little bit of an intriguing one. And only one Monday Night Football game this week as well,
Mercifully.
which is always a plus. The 2-2 New Orleans Saints plus 5.5 taking on the 4-0 defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
No Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes just kind of making a boneheaded play on a fumble, trying to recover a fumble, diving into Rice's knee. Just like I said, just a dumb play by him, but I guess you can't fault the guy for trying to recover the fumble.
Yep.
There's no awareness.
He didn't pull a Cam Newton.
Yeah. He just had no awareness while doing it. So it'll be interesting to see if some of the other guys can step up, namely Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
He had a better week against the Chargers than he has in the past few. And the Saints offense is finally starting to cool down a little bit. The Chiefs defense has been what's won the Chiefs games because Patrick Mahomes has been that offense has been ass other than Rashee Rice. That being said, you're not giving me enough points to pick the Saints. Give me the new evil empire in the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're not giving you enough points to pick the New Orleans Saints, but they're giving me enough. No Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce he did look better last week. And as the season goes along, I do expect him to continue to look better. Gotta remember that Kelce ain't young. So conditioning comes into play. And everyone's conditioning in the NFL is going to get better week by week for those that do get on the field. So that being said, I mean, the Chiefs have just been, they're 4-0, but they've done it in such a very non-impressive way.
They very easily could be 1-3.
Yeah, I think this could be a 2-2 football team. Like,
yeah,
things happen a little bit differently. That's how close it's been with the Chiefs. So a New Orleans offense that got off to a really hot start that's cooled down. A Chiefs defense that doesn't really know what they want to be. Chris Jones is still on a different fucking level. But
so fucking good.
I'm gonna take the Saints to cover that 5.5, and those are your college and NFL picks. Let's get into champ and chump of the week so we can get the fuck out of here.
My champ of the week, unless you wanted to go first.
Nada.
Okay, my champ of the week is the embattled Devin Brown, Ohio State quarterback who wears number 33.
I can't tell if I love or hate that.
He got in the game for, ended up only being one play, I believe, against Michigan State.
He was in the game for a little bit longer.
Well, one meaningful play.
Well, yeah, okay, yes.
Sorry. One meaningful play in the first half after Will Howard took a shot. And you've heard it all the past couple weeks from some Ohio State fans. I even said it a little bit here on this show last week that at some point we got to start looking at Julian Sayin, because is Devin Brown going to be the quarterback of the future? You don't know. Because, I mean, with how good Sayin and Aaron Nolan were coming out of high school and how much hype's been around them, and Devin Brown coming off the injury. But he threw a phenomenal pass. There was a phenomenal block from TreVeyon Henderson on that insane Jeremiah Smith touchdown.
And an otherworldly catch by a guy that, if rules were different, would be playing NFL football
tomorrow
on Sundays. Yeah, he would be in the NFL right now if he didn't have to go through the college system, I suppose. Yeah. And he would also be playing NFL football next year if he could.
Yeah, like Yeah, it was a phenomenal catch by just otherworldly catch by Jeremiah Smith. Miss me with that Ryan Williams bullshit down in Alabama. We
Can't let you bastards keep getting away with this.
but that was a really good throw from Devin Brown on that touchdown that blew that game open.
My number one receiver is Samaj Morgan, who's questionable.
Yeah, that's pain.
My number one receiver is a tight end, realistically.
Yeah. But Devin Brown, like all week, people were leading up to this Michigan State game. Devin Brown can't get second team snaps. You gotta put him in against you gotta put Julian Sain in. You gotta let Lincoln Keenholz. You gotta let Aaron Nolan play. And a lot of people, and I said something about it on Sunday, maybe Monday, that Chip Kelly and Ryan Day are seeing something in practice that we're not, and we have to just trust it. Devin Brown, who has shown that he wants to put the work in, put the effort in, be with that program instead of just pulling a Kyle McCord and jumping ship. He deserved that play, and to be able to have that moment with the first team guys, because he hasn't had a moment with the first teamers at all this year. So he's my champ of the week.
My champ of the week is the champ of the last almost 2 months. And I'd say head to toe in Tigers gear. I'm sorry that I don't have Tigers shorts, but it is the Detroit baseball Tigers Detroit is such a hungry city for a winner. And so for a team to come out and do what they've done just to make the playoffs, but not only make the playoffs, take down what isn't the new baseball evil empire. That is still the Yankees. But a team that everybody loves to root for their downfall in the Houston Astros.
Yep.
And now it could be ESPN for making the Tigers win all about Houston and their streak of consecutive ALCS appearances and all that. But because that happened right before the final out as well. It wasn't about Detroit. It was about the end of the Houston dynasty. Essentially.
Fucking
there was another candidate. But I'll tell you, man, this is just one of the most fun stretches I've ever had as a sports fan, because you just there were no expectations, and to all of a sudden have those, not even expectations, but to see a winning product on the field in the most obscure way. This team is bizarre. I don't understand how they're doing it. I don't get it. I just don't. But I don't have to enjoy it, and it is absolutely incredible. So
Fair.
My champ of the week, and really maybe the season. I know we don't really do that, but it's the Detroit Tigers. Like, this is one of the most incredible things, I think, in terms of just like out of left field that nobody expected.
Oh well, we already know
to happen in sports. Like, we got one starting pitcher. Make it make sense. This shouldn't work, but it's working.
So we already know the chump of the year when we do the end of the year podcast, end of the season podcast. We know your champ of the year from the sounds of it. Maybe.
Long way to go. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, we all know Aaron Guitar is going to be chump of the year.
He's in the running because he's the only one on the graphic, I suppose.
That is true.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's move to chump of the week. My chump of the week, for any of those who were around for Weekend Jorts when I did that yesterday, I don't usually bring Weekend Jorts over here to this, but it was fitting for this one. My chump of the week is the Florida State Seminoles.
They could be chump of the year. Let's be honest.
And I'm going to give you the same reasoning that I had when I for Weekend Jorts for those of you who, because I don't think it's hit YouTube or up on Spotify yet. This Florida State team, going all the way back to last December. So we're going 10 months now. Back to last December, we're hearing about how they felt slighted, how they were a really great team, and how they got scammed out of not being in the college football playoff. We heard it all offseason after Michigan won the national championship. We heard it, Florida State should have been in there. They were a phenomenal team. They got slighted. And
an active lawsuit is happening still.
An active lawsuit still is happening. Thank you. Because I forgot to bring that up yesterday on Weekend Jorts. That's how this Florida State team felt. We heard it all February, March, April through spring camp. We heard it July and August through fall camp as they're getting ready for week 0. We heard it. That was pretty much all the commentary their week 0 game in Dublin, Ireland was about how this team was angry and how they felt slighted. And they have come out and laid shit bomb after shit bomb after shit bomb. A shit bomb win against the Cal Golden Bears to go to 1-3, beating Cal 14-9, and then the latest shit bomb this past weekend, 42-16 to SMU to drop to 1-4, 1-3 in conference play. I'm tired of hearing about how angry this team was last offseason. DJ Uiagalelei looks like he's getting benched going into Clemson. There's rumors that fucking redshirt freshman Brock Glenn is going to be playing. Brock Glenn, who against Louisville in the ACC championship last year, threw for 50 yards, in which Florida State ran majority of the game out of the fucking Wildcat.
That's fun, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fun, but I'm tired of hearing about how that team felt slighted. Throw the lawsuit out. This right here, this season, and you could sit and say, "Oh, this team's different than last year." This team just proves that last year they shouldn't have been in the college football playoff. You come out, we hear the rhetoric all fucking off season, and you are just disgraceful.
Now, granted, this is a different team with some losses, and mainly that loss that if Jordan Travis does not go down, they are in the college football playoff without a doubt.
I agree.
Do they compete with whoever they matched up against? That they probably would have been
Michigan.
I mean, 3 or 4 would have been, I think, arguable at 12-0.
Yeah.
But more than likely they face Michigan. Do they beat Michigan? I don't know. We will never know.
We'll never know.
But when you lose Jordan Travis, I like it. I think something has to be said, and which is why we have the expanded playoff as is, that an undefeated conference champion can do what they did, lose one player, and then your season's over.
Which is wrong.
However,
don't get me right. I agree. That is wrong.
You did have to rely on what you ran the Wildcat.
The entire second half against Louisville.
You ran the Wildcat formation, which is not going to beat anybody at a high level.
No.
It's just not. So I hate and understand it at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I hate it because,
This Florida State team is broken top to bottom. If they do not part ways with their head coach, not even part ways, don't even give him the satisfaction of being able to step down, part ways, fire this man. There's no way around.
Norvell needs fired.
Downfall. Mike Norvell is one of the worst head coaches I think we have in college football, and that is saying a lot because there's a lot of bad ones. But I got the initial frustration of Florida State not making it in, but they can't continue. They've made it their whole personality as a fan base and as a team for almost a calendar year now.
Yeah, almost 10 months now.
It is, yeah, I mean, essentially 10 months. You can't let that happen.
Yeah.
It's just really, really bad.
And
it's embarrassing on so many different levels for Florida State. And I mean, I feel for the fans of Florida State with no attachment or any sort of hatred towards them. I really feel bad.
Like, so to round mine out, like, yeah, and that's what makes them my chump of the week. You can't make that your entire identity through the off season of, oh, we're slighted, we're gonna go prove them wrong, and then do this.
Well, yeah, they've done it.
They have. Who's your chump?
Done it. Their ass. My chump is someone who has appeared on this segment before, or rather, an entity.
Oh no.
That has appeared on this segment before. Now, not this year, so they are not on the graphic yet, but it is only a matter of time, and it's about the only reason that I'm not blocking every account that they have. It's the Detroit line.
Oh, Jesus.
They're back in a big, big way. So when the Tigers decided to lose the final 2 games of the regular season to the Chicago White Sox and lock themselves down as the 6th seed, which meant they would be taking on the Houston Astros. The Detroit line, who was at the forefront and made all the merch for when the Lions were bad the year after the Matthew Stafford trade and the Rams went on their Super Bowl run, they were the ones selling Detroit Rams merchandise.
Yes.
If you remember that.
I do.
This same organization, this same, as I've called them multiple times, shit stain on Detroit sports.
Yep.
Started when it was clear that we were facing the Astros. Started pushing for a Justin Verlander jersey ban, which requires a little bit of a breakdown. Justin Verlander, when that trade to Houston, his first stint in Houston happened, was given notice of the trade. Verlander had a no-trade clause, and he did not want to go. It wasn't until a conversation, I want to say with Dallas Keuchel. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it was Dallas Keuchel. That Verlander agreed to the trade. A trade that, at least according to Verlander and other sources, beat the deadline for that trade. Because remember, this wasn't after the normal MLB trade deadline trade. This was during the waiver trade deadline.
Yeah.
This trade got through with 2 seconds to spare. That is how close this thing was. Justin Verlander did not want to leave Detroit. He wanted to stay. And I do, in a completely unrelated thing, I think there is a chance that Verlander would like to come back this next year, as he is a free agent once again.
Yeah, very possible.
Matthew Stafford, the one that we made Detroit Rams shirts for, to support after all he did for the Detroit Lions.
Wanted to leave.
He wanted out. We supported Stafford when he was the one that wanted out, and I don't blame Stafford for that at all. The Lions were a team headed in the wrong direction. You had Matt Patricia as your head coach for so long. You had to completely rebuild the whole thing with Dan Campbell. I don't blame Stafford for that at all.
No.
And I'm glad that he won a Super Bowl title.
I'm not, but
we're gonna
digress.
We're gonna. Well, of course, yeah, you're not gonna be, but still, as a Lions fan that watched Stafford and was a big fan of Stafford for a long time, I was happy for him to get that done.
Yeah, fair.
we're gonna support Stafford, who wanted out, when we're not gonna support Verlander, who didn't want out,
Who wanted to stay?
who wanted to stay with a bad baseball team.
Make it make sense.
We can't.
You can't. Yeah, no, you can't.
This isn't the only moment of the week from the Detroit line. After the Tigers knocked out the Houston Astros last night, I don't have an exact timestamp on this. However, MLive.com, and I'm sure there are so many others that made this joke probably prior, but I think MLive was the most prominent to do so, and the earliest prominent one to do so. Just put a picture of Verlander and Stafford together, and said, a Taylor Swift album couldn't even drag an X like this.
I've seen that.
The Lions beat Stafford in the playoffs, and the Tigers beat Verlander in a playoff.
I saw that, and that was very, very classless.
Well, no, well, okay. The original post from MLive, or what I'm about to say?
I don't even know what you said. That one was the original post from MLive was not great.
So the MLive one, I mean, it is what it is. It's just stupid, I guess, fun, if that's your definition of fun. 4 hours after MLive posted that, the Detroit line posted the same thing, except worded in a really weird way. Even a Taylor Swift album couldn't drag an X like these former Detroit stars were. What? Where they use the same picture of Justin Verlander, a different picture of Matthew Stafford for whatever reason, put their watermark over it. It's our content, man. This is the same organization that has gone after content thieves in the past. And now, so I did a screen recording of this because, now this is over on Facebook, probably can't find it. I did a screen recording of this because I was gonna post it in their comment section. I'm a nuisance every time I think that they're being really stupid.
Which is
and
fair.
I just say, you people really have no shame, and post the screen recording. And the Detroit line just goes, "Aw, so cute." What does that even mean? There is a reason I call them the shit stain of Detroit sports, because they are. I followed that account because they used to post real cool edited photos of the Detroit skyline and various things around Detroit. That was the whole reason I followed them. And they have turned into what they have now. And I'm going to leave it to somebody that replied to my original screen recording here. A man by the name of Jeff, who says, well, if the Detroit line isn't plagiarizing, they're probably saying something wrong. And that is my chump of the week.
Yeah, they're bad. I knew it was going to be bad when you said Detroit line.
It always is.
That's the show. Fucking Detroit line. It's bedtime.
Well, we're only about an hour over the wanted goal, but we'll clean things up. Things will get better.
Yeah. I don't even have notes anymore. I apparently got rid of them. Next week, show, podcast, stuff, time, eventually. That's what we got. Peace out. Stay classy. See ya. Where's the end screen at?
Keyboard for my PC is down on the
There
floor.
it is.
I can't end.